What's up, guys? Tyler here, bringing you another video. Today, I'm going to talk to you about God's calling, but before I do that, I just want to say that out of all the videos I've released so far, this one I have encountered the most spiritual warfare while trying to record, and I guess that's good news for you guys because that means that whatever God wants me to speak to you today is so important that Satan is trying to knock that down. So either something I say needs to be heard by all y'all, or something I say needs to be heard by somebody in particular. So I've been praying over this one a bunch, and I'm going to give it another shot. So I want to start off by saying that God has placed a calling on your life in particular. He's placed a calling on all of ours, but I want to talk about yours. And my goal today is to help you figure out what that may be, or at least get you on the right path to discerning what the calling is that God has placed on your life. Sound good? All right. So with that being said, what is a calling? What does that phrase even mean? What does that word mean? And in the Christian community, we tend to toss that around a lot. I noticed that, myself included, but a lot of Christians tend to say, the word calling, like here and there, and just throw it around in regular conversation, but usually not with much descriptive context of what it actually means. So a calling is God's will or desire for our lives and how we should live them. It's how we should live our life in order to bring Him the most glory and to live the most blessed, abundant life possible. Does that mean you have to follow it? No. You have the free will given to you by God. However, whenever you get more in tune with the Spirit and you start living more and more for God, following God's calling and following God begins to go hand in hand, and you end up living more for God by living more for the calling He has placed on your life. Make sense? Let's move on. So, how do we figure out what our calling is? I would say the first place to look is your passions. What are you most passionate about in your life? You see, God knows your heart. He placed certain things in your heart for certain reasons, and He's giving you passions for those certain reasons. So whatever God has placed on your heart from even a young age, or maybe later on in life, may be what you're being called to do, what you're being called to go and pursue in life. So maybe, for example, like God has placed love for animals on your heart. So maybe what He's saying is that you need to go pursue being a veterinarian because that's what your calling may be. Or maybe you're passionate about your country and you want to serve the people in it and you want to honor it. Well, then maybe your calling might be going into the armed forces or something of that sort. But not every passion is a part of your calling. A lot of your passions may just be hobbies. I could use myself for an example. I love to work out. Working out is something that I've really enjoyed doing for almost 3 years now, and it's something that I've kept up with and been really consistent with. But that doesn't mean that's my calling. My calling isn't to be a bodybuilder or a personal trainer. However, while my hobby may not be my calling, I can still honor God in my hobby. If you're following what I'm saying here, it's, me going to the gym, like I may not be speaking to someone directly about Christ, or maybe I am, but I can also just be friendly to somebody at the gym. I could just love on somebody, or, whenever I connect to the radio there, instead of playing some trap rap or heavy metal, or, even then, just play Christian rap, Christian metal, something like that. And those are things. I don't know if there's a lot of people, surprisingly, that aren't aware of that. Christian rap, awesome. Christian rock, awesome. Christian country, Christian pop. I mean, like, we have these things for a reason. There's people, there's artists that do this, and you can be a leader in putting your Christian friends onto this kind of music, something that gets you away from the sinful side of things. And I'm not saying that all secular music is wrong. However, if you're going to listen to rap music, a lot of it talks really bad. And if you are going to listen to metal or country, all of that can talk really bad and about really sinful things. So maybe just, putting your mind onto something better through listening to Christian music might be something that you're being called to do as a hobby right now. See what I did there? Anyhow, so your calling is the will for your life that benefits others and honors God the most. God will place your calling on your heart and you'll know it. Like I just said, he places these things on us. So, but maybe he hasn't yet for you. And that's a thing. Maybe it's still not time for you to have your calling or to understand what that is. Maybe God is holding off from revealing to you your full calling, your ultimate calling, the one that he has for you for the rest of your life. Maybe you need to experience some stuff first in your life. Maybe you need to go through a rough season to know that your calling is through your perseverance to share your testimony with hundreds of people and to bring these people to know Christ through the power of your testimony. Or maybe you just need to be faithful in learning guitar before God reveals to you that you're going to be a worship leader at your next church. I don't know what your calling may be, but whenever you're faithful to God and whenever you're patient with him, then he slowly begins to reveal to you what that passion is, what it really means for your life. And so an issue that may occur though, and I've experienced it firsthand, is what if I'm passionate about something but incapable of doing it? What if I feel called to go do something, but I don't feel able to do it? I don't know how. I don't have the capabilities. That's really where God comes in. Like I said earlier with our passions coming in there, well, God comes in where our passions are, but our capabilities fail. And I'd like to point out, that God likes to pick people that aren't qualified sometimes. And I heard it said by one of my pastors once that God does not call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And I'm sure lots of people have said that, but that's just so important. I mean, I'll even say it again for you. God does not call the qualified, he qualifies the called. God chose Moses to lead the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt and towards the promised land, but Moses had a stutter and Moses didn't feel capable. He didn't think he could speak to the people, but God said that this is his calling, and so he qualified him to be able to do it, and he used him as a middleman to reach the people, almost like he ended up using Jesus so many years later to do the same thing. It's just awesome to consider how capable God is of qualifying us and allowing us to have these capabilities that we never thought we were able to have. God answers the prayers of the passionate. If you are passionate about something and you just keep on praying on it and keep on praying on it, but you don't feel like you're capable yet, just keep at it. Don't make this a one-time prayer. Make this an everyday prayer. Keep reaching out to God and telling him that this is what you're passionate about. This is what you would like to pursue in life. And he's either going to give you the capabilities of doing so, or God's going to shoot that down because his plan for you is better, and he's going to reveal to you a different calling, something that he has planned for you since the beginning of time. I want to say also, before I wrap up, that this relationship with God is not a job interview. God does not ask for your qualifications. He asks for your passions. He doesn't care if you're able to speak to crowds. Your calling may not be to preach. And he doesn't care if you're good at playing the drums. Your calling may not be to be in the band. You see, God works in these awesome ways that we have no way of comprehending. But we can sort of begin to a little bit whenever we really just reach out to him more and more and more and dive into his word and really try to understand our God. And what I wanted to really end on and share with you guys was a verse in Colossians, and I hold this verse really dear to my heart. It's one of my favorite ever. And it says in Colossians 3:23 through 24, "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ." Whatever you do, whether your job is cutting grass like mine, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but getting real sunburnt while doing it, or maybe your job is just sitting behind a desk, work for God. Don't work and think that all of what you do is for the approval of your coworkers or your boss. No, you're working for God. And same goes for the way that you treat others. You're representing Christ in the workplace. And I'm going to speak on this real soon. I feel God telling me that I need to share a message on this. You are a representation of who Jesus Christ is in your workplace, in your home, within your family, within your friends. So you need to work at that. Whatever you do, you need to show other people the love of Christ, the life of Christ. You need to tell them the gospel. And this is an amazing thing that my life group leader once told me, and he said that we get to preach to people every single day, and sometimes we get to use words. And I think that's powerful enough that I can leave you on that. So thank you for joining me today. Like and subscribe to the video if you haven't already. Share this video with your friends. I'm really trying to get this channel up so we can reach more people. We can share the word with more people. I want to be able to equip you guys more so as disciples and speak on subjects that y'all have questions about or are really passionate about. And I just want to be able to reach the lost that don't know Jesus, but you can either help them to come know him or just plant a seed that will eventually get watered and sprout and become harvested. So with that all being said, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you again in the next video.